Hi there, I'm John Paul of the blog PaymentTor.com. Push and pull payments, what are they and what are the differences? In this video, you'll first learn what push payments are. Then we'll talk about pull payments and conclude with a summary to highlight the main differences and provide few examples. So let's begin. I'd like to begin with an introduction to show you how important this topic is. Each payment belongs to one of these two categories. It's really important to be aware of that fact. A payment is either a push payment or a pull payment. There's nothing in the middle. It's like a Boolean variable. Either push or pull. There is no other possibility. And once you know if a payment is a push or a pull payment, you can deduct many other things, as we will see later. Push payments are payments that are initiated by the senders of the money, the payers. Funds are pushed to the beneficiary. So the sender or the debtor debits his account and pushes the funds to the beneficiary's account. Pull payments, on the contrary, are initiated by receivers of the funds, the beneficiaries or creditors. Funds are pulled from the payer's account. Here, the beneficiary collects the funds from the debtor's account. That is why pull payments are also called collections. Now, let's take a closer look at push payments. The picture you see here illustrates how messages and funds flow for push payments. A push transaction is initiated by the debtor to send money to the creditor. The payment messages flows from the debtor to the creditor, and the funds flow in the same direction. In the payment systems, the debtor bank is debited while the creditor bank is credited. The debtor bank takes the funds from its customer's account, and the creditor banks credit his customer's accounts with the funds received from the payment system. In push payments, the debtor bank checks that the debtor has sufficient funds on his account. In case the funds are not sufficient, the instruction is rejected. The risk of non-sufficient funds is therefore drastically reduced or almost eliminated for the bank. Now, let's consider pull payments. Again, we have a picture illustrating how messages and funds flow for pull payments. A pull payment is initiated by the creditor to take money from the debtor. The payment messages flows from the creditor to the debtor. However, the money flows in the opposite direction. In the payment system, the debtor bank is debited while the creditor bank is credited. The debtor bank takes that money from its customer, and the creditor bank credits its customer's account with the funds received from the payment system. When the creditor bank sends the message, it does not know if the payer has sufficient funds on his account to pay. There is a risk of non-sufficient funds, and the payment can bounce. It is said that pull payments are subject to bouncing. Another interesting feature of pull payment is the authorization that the creditor must get from the debtor to collect funds from the debtor's account. That explains why a check without signature cannot be collected and why a PIN code is needed for a car transaction. Now, let's summarize. Originators are different in push and pull payments. For push payments, the message is originated by the sender of the funds, the debtor. For pull payments, it is the receiver of funds that initiate the payment message. As we saw, messages and funds flow in the same direction for push payments, but they flow in opposite directions for pull payments. Push payments are less risky than pull payments. A push payment instruction is executed only if the payer has sufficient funds on his account. Pull payments are subject to bouncing. When a creditor bank originates a pull transaction, it does not know if the payer has sufficient funds on his account to pay. Therefore, the payment can bounce. Examples of push transactions are SEPA credit transfer, wire transfer, direct deposit, also called direct credit, for payroll, for example, ACH credit transfers, etc. In each case, the debtor instructs his bank to send money to the beneficiary or to push money to the beneficiary. Examples of pull transactions are SEPA direct debits, checks, car payments, and so on. In each case, the creditor instructs his bank to collect money from the debtor's account. Pull transactions are therefore also called collections. That's the end of this presentation about push and pull payments. These are useful resources that you can check out if you want to deepen the topic. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you have any questions, just post a comment below the video. If it was interesting for you, you can like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also go to paymentor.com and subscribe to the newsletter to receive regular updates about articles and video. Take care and stay tuned